Hello, everyone. I will be presenting the critical analysis of IL speaking section. This is an 11 to 14 minutes face-to-face interview. Candidates are assessed on 4 rubrics: fluency, lexical resources, grammar, and pronunciation. But fundamentally, this test aims to measure a real-time communicative and interactional competence. Now, let's look at a sample from the Cambridge 20 text 2. The part 1 will ask everyday question like, what's your favorite food? What's your name? Can you show me your ID card? This is sexy. The BICS basic interpersonal communication skills with a very low cognitive load. In part 2, we'll ask the candidate to describe the time that you change your brain. This shift to measuring their ability to produce a logical monologue without the examiner's help. In part 3, the cognitive load jumps the question like on the screen. We completely shift everyday BICS to CALP. The cognitive academic language proficiency. The candidates must use a high order thinking, abstract reasoning, and the ability to justify their opinion on some issues. So someone will ask, how valid is the test? The biggest strength is the situational authenticity. Unlike talking to a computer in the TOEFL face-to-face format mirrors real humans interaction. 重新开始。Hello. Hello, everyone. I will be presenting the critical analysis of the IELTS speaking section. This is an 11 to 14 minutes face-to-face interview. Candidates are assessed on 4 rubrics: fluency, lexical resources, grammar, and pronunciation. But fundamentally, this test aims to measure the real-time communicative and interactional competence. Now, let's look at the test sample from the Cambridge 20. Part 1 will ask everyday question like, what's your favorite food? This assesses BICS basic interpersonal communication skills with a very low cognitive load. In part 2, we'll ask the candidates to describe the time that you change a plan. This shifts to measuring their abilities to produce a logical monologue without the examiner's help. In part 3, the cognitive load jumps. The question asked like on the screen. We completely shift from everyday BICS to CALP, the cognitive academic language proficiency. The candidate must use the high order thinking, abstract reasoning, and the ability to justify the reason on the issue. So someone will ask, how valid is this test? Its biggest strength is the situational authenticity. Unlike talking to a computer in the TOEFL, the face-to-face format mirrors real human interaction. It perfectly captures the interactional competence. Candidates can negotiate meanings, use the body language, and ask for the clarifications, which is highly authentic. However, this format has a downside. While standardized training ensures scoring reliability, sitting with the examiner can trigger their test anxiety. When this happens, the text suffer from a construct irrelevant variance. It might end up measuring a candidate's stress tolerance rather than their actual language proficiency. So this brings me to major equity concepts, fairness, and the topic bias. Look back at the part 3 question about the career choice and work experience. Imagine that you are an 18-year-old high school student trying to answer this question. This land corporate experience unintentionally. The test is measuring the life experience and the social insights, not language. This is a significant bias. Next is the washback effect. Because the IELTS is high stakes, it fuels a massive test industry. Students memorize scripty response from part 1 and part 2. When this destroys their construct on spontaneous communication. Furthermore, despite being international, its pronunciation rubric still heavily favored native speaker norms, ignoring the reality of multilingual mediation. So, to conclude, the IELTS speaking is highly authentic but suffer from the topic bias and the negative washback. I suggest three improvement. First, provide a brief context in the part 3 to help younger candidates. Second, focus on the pronunciation rubrics pure on the intelligibility rather than the native accents. Finally, the examiner should ask more unpredictable follow-up questions to break the memorized scripts. Thank you. I will pass it to the next roommate.